are my apostle. That's what that man prophesied. Okay? And then another one prophesied the same thing that didn't know that first man. Okay, I'm listening to that and I'm thinking, okay, let's see if it bears out. Okay? I was never appointed to the churches. I was never sent by a church to another church to help bring out order or discipline or whatever. And so you could say that may or may not have been a true prophecy from the Lord. Another prophecy came forth. In fact, I went and asked this man at a full gospel businessman's meeting. I said, would you prophesy over me? He turned his back and walked away. So I followed him and I said, maybe he didn't hear me. That's what I was thinking. Okay, would you prophesy over me? And so he finally stopped and turned around and he said, thus saith the Lord. My pen's not working good. Thus saith the Lord, you are very rebellious. And so my friend was waiting out in the car because we had got ready to go and I felt like I needed something from the Lord. So after the full gospel businessman's lunching or dinner, whatever it was, we had already gone out to the car. My friend was driving and he was waiting in the car for me. I said, I got to go back in and hear from the Lord. So he was waiting out there. So I go back and sit down in the car. And when I got there, he said, got back to the car, he said, well, did he prophesy to you? And I says, yes. He says, what did he say? I said, he said, thus saith the Lord, you are very rebellious. He says, oh, okay. And so started the car and we went home. Never talked about it again or anything. But I'm sure he kept that in mind and I kept it in mind. And I did take it to heart. I thought, you know what, I may be a rebellious person. And then another man who happened to be my cousin, an evangelist, no, he's an uncle. He spoke to me and I felt like it was as if he was speaking the utterances of the Lord. And he said, you have a restless spirit. And I says, what does that mean? Is that good or bad, or what does that mean? He says, I just know you have a restless spirit. So I took that into consideration and thought about it for years and worried and concerned about it because I don't want to be restless as against the Lord, you know. But I did think about Paul, how he said that he had no rest in his spirit till he could find one of his co-workers, I believe it was. And so he left there and went looking for this co-worker. I don't remember if it was Titus or I think it was Titus. So anyway, so yes, I do believe in prophecy and I believe in the gifts of the Spirit that they are for today. But you know, if God's speaking to me that San Francisco is getting ready to have another earthquake, I would sure want to go and warn them. But I'm not going to go say that San Francisco is going to have an earthquake when it's not going to happen, when it doesn't happen, and then, oh, well, I'm right 20% of the time, so I'm okay. No. Let me tell you, it's what I read in the very beginning. Jesus is the source of all knowledge. And if it lifts up Jesus, then that's fine. The reason these men are prophesying these cataclysmic events over the United States is because they feel like that the United States is in a backslidden condition and that God is going to judge it. Let me tell you something. I think that the United States isn't in a backslid conditions because the United States is a Gentile country that is run by a government of the earth, and it never was forward slid. What I mean by that is, I don't think I think that America needed to be saved before it could be backslid. Now there are people, and I don't think that it ever was saved. I think it's one of the parts of the beasts that comes up onto the ground in Revelation chapter 13, and the one about which Daniel spoke about the beast being that there were 4 beasts, and one of them was like a bear, one was like a leopard, and one was like fierce with iron teeth, and it's a part of that vision also that he had in chapter 2, is it? Of where Nebuchadnezzar saw this vision of the head of gold and the different parts of the body. Well, we're part of that body too. We, the United States, happens to be, we're founded on Greek and Roman political system, culture, and language. A lot of our English comes from the Greek and from the Latin, which is Roman. So we're a part of that nations, those nations that have been oppressing Israel for millennia. Okay, I got this finished. I need to start watercoloring this now. Is it still working good? Yeah, let me put it over here more in the middle.